Today, I'm going to give you 4 fail-proof tactics which you can use in your small groups that will not only boost the power of your small groups in your church, but it'll help you overcome some challenges in small group ministries. I'm going to help you understand the benefits of these tactics, and I'm going to give you one specific step you can take right now that'll have a great impact on your small group. So let's jump right into these. Number 1, appoint some pastoral care workers in your groups. Make sure that you have not just the leader doing pastoral care and follow-up with people, but you appoint into each group 1 or 2 or 3, maybe even 3, up to 3 pastoral care workers. Because here's the deal. Here's the benefit out of this. People will come for content, but they will only stay for community. The primary reason people stay in a small group is the friendships, the community, the connections they build. And you can boost that. This is a brilliant tactic to actually get 2 or 3 people besides the leader actually doing the pastoral care, following people up, praying for people, being aware of people who are struggling with their health or job challenges or whatever. Spread the load so that not just your leader is actually doing care, but also you have pastoral care workers. And thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate the fact that you're catching up with me here on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like button. Leave me a comment and interact on the channel. I really do appreciate you being part of the channel. Well, the number 2 tactic to make sure you can overcome challenges in your small group ministry is to use your best small group leaders as coaches. What do I mean by this? Have a look at those who have a thriving small group. Have a chat to them, say, hey, would you mind coaching a couple of the other leaders of our small group ministry? And all they've got to do is go along to the small group of another leader, not do anything, but just participate as a normal person. Let them know, of course, that you're coming as their coach beforehand. And then a week or 2 later, catch up with the leader and give them some feedback, give them some coaching, some encouragement, some support. Over a coffee, you can share a few ideas and tips that you have used as a really good leader to grow your small group. Now, the benefit of this, of course, is that good leaders will become brilliant leaders. They'll kind of get out of that boredom of, well, I know how to run a group and it's kind of just a bit mundane. Hey, I can now actually coach other leaders into a better place. So every leader wins out of this style, and it gets all that load off you as the pastor or the small group's pastor actually having to do all the work of developing leaders. Number 3, the third tactic to really boost your small groups is appoint a comms person, communications person in each group. Their job is to run a messenger group or a WhatsApp group, some means where people are in the loop in terms of communication about, hey, don't forget the meeting is on this Friday night. Hey, what about the discussion from last week? How good was that? How are you applying that? Hey, let's all pray for Bob. He's going through a real tough time with his health at the moment. Let's all be praying for him. Now, you don't want to overload those comms, but having a comms person who's kind of reminding people the group is meeting or just bringing back into their purview the fact that, hey, we really committed to do this last week in the discussion. How you're going with that? A comms person, I think, is a brilliant tactic. Now, here's the number 4 tactic that's especially for pastors. So if you're not a pastor, don't switch off. Don't say, oh, it's not for me. You may actually want to share this with your pastor and inspire them and encourage them to do this. But pastor, I would encourage you to run a small group. Now, not a regular small group as other small groups are run in the church, but to run a very specific small group that will help you in multiple ways. I call it an emerging leaders group. It's a small group of people that you've invited to come into your world and hang out with for 90 minutes about every 2 weeks or every month. It can go as long as a 3-month group or a 6-month group or a 12-month group. There's all sorts of ways to do this. Read a book together, treat it like a book club, and actually do some interaction as you develop leaders. Now, what's the benefit of this? Well, 1, when you're preaching and mentioning small groups in the life of the church, you can talk about the group that you run or have run this year. So people go, oh, pastor's running a small group. Small groups really matter in our church. You're modeling to the entire church the importance and the benefits of small groups and how it can really impact their life as well. And of course, you can share some stories of how you've built relationships within that group and what it's meant for you. Now, pastors, whenever I'm consulting and coaching with pastors, and I encourage them to do this, whenever they do this, invariably, the feedback is, oh man, I am loving my emerging leaders group. Wish I'd done it earlier. So I want to encourage you in this. And now the one step I want you to take is click the link in the notes. There's a link in the notes to a blog post on how to set up an emerging leaders group. It's a step-by-step blog post. It'll take you through all how to do it, lay it out for you. And I think, Pastor, if you're not running an emerging leaders group, I think this is something that you can do every year. Sometimes it'll be 3 months long, sometimes 9 months, whatever. There's different ways to kind of do this thing, but I encourage you to do that. So click on the link. That's your next job right now, your next step. Click on the link, read the post. Now, if you're not a pastor, read the post as well and send it to your pastor and say, hey, check out what John's saying about this emerging leaders group. I think it'd be great for you. So what do you think? Let me know. Give me some feedback. These 4 tactics to overcome challenges in small group ministry.